Fabry Metal Company Limited, a steel producing company here in Ghana, located opposite the Saglemi Affordable Housing Unit on the Aplawu stretch, is the first victim of Electricity Company of Ghana's disconnection exercise, an exercise aimed at recouping the amount of money they owe the Electricity Company of Ghana, 28 million Ghana cedis for that matter. After talks with management, they couldn't really agree or come to any meaningful consensus. Therefore, the task force proceeded to take them off the national grid, and they will now have to rely on an external power source to power their operations here in their premises. So in your short is the task force coming from the premises of Fabry Metal Company Limited. After negotiations broke down, they have now agreed to take them off the national grid, and they've just done that, and they are returning from their premises. Leila Abubakari is the manager of external communications, and she's been speaking to the media after today's exercise.
We have taken off Fabry Metal for their inability to pay any amount towards the 28 million they owe ECG. We were hoping to reach some sort of agreement, but they haven't been able to provide anything at all. They said they could do an installment payment, but that hasn't happened. So unfortunately, based on the strict instructions from our bosses, we had to take them off.
What was the excuse given you by these people?
They said that their bills that were coming in were all estimated bills. What happens is when ECG is not able to read your meter, either remotely or on the system, and if they are not able to convert it on our customer management system, they give you a bill that is an average of what you normally consume in a month. And so they will provide you with a bill. If you're comfortable, you make the payment, and then it can be regularized when the actual bill is presented later. Now, they were presented with estimates of what they owe, and they didn't make any payments. They said they were waiting for the actual bills before they would make any payment. They showed us a slip where they were paying an average of 3 million cedis a month. In some months, 1 million, 4 million, 2 million. I think in January and February, they paid 4 million each, but their average bill is about 6.5 million a month. And so I requested that at least 50% of the money be given to us now so that we can negotiate on the rest of the money they owe. But they said they are not able to cough out such an amount to us now.
Literally ceased their operation. They won't be able to work and then bring out the money they need to pay you what you're looking for. Where do you draw the balance?
They don't need to make the money today to pay us. They've already consumed the power. They have produced, they have exported, whatever it is that they use the energy for their business. They've already done that. Like I said, it's 6 months. And so you can't tell me that in the 6 months you did not budget for a raw material like energy. They have transported their products to wherever. As you can see, business was going on. So I told them that with regards to what we are doing this month, we also have a lot of fire behind our backs. If you owe us this amount of money, and you are not able to make any payments at all as we are before you to negotiate, you are still consuming power and you are manufacturing, whilst we are owing those who are generating power for us. It doesn't add up in our books. And so what we can do is we terminate the power and then we can discuss the debt. But whilst we are discussing the debt, it's still being consumed, and then what do? So no, we'll take you off. We negotiate, you pay what you owe us, and then we can reconnect and then start business. The
task force went to the B5 Company Limited, where after engagement, they managed to pay about 20 million Ghana cedis out of 42 million cedis they owe the power distributor. So
we are now at B5. They are steel manufacturing company, one of the largest in West Africa. They had a bill of 48 million Ghana cedis, which had compiled over 4 months. The instruction from head office was to take at least 20 million Ghana cedis as at yesterday. We realized that some of the checks were post-dated, and so we couldn't accept them. So we've just reached a conclusion with them this morning. They've paid 20 million, or let's assume that by the end of the day, the 20 million should have reflected in ECG's bank accounts. But we're on our way to disconnect their facilities. They've made 50% payments now, and then the rest of the money will be paid next week.
This is the second place that has since been turned off or taken off the national grid by the National Task Force for non-payment of their arrears or outstanding bill. So literally this particular place would either have to rely on an external power source. But the argument the Electricity Company of Ghana is making is that these bills they are chasing their customers to pay are actually power consumed over the past 4 months to 6 months period, and they believe these are things these companies should have budgeted for and make payments, adequate payments for as far as they consume the current. And for that matter, they would want to proceed to disconnect them if they are unwilling to settle the amount they owe the Electricity Company of Ghana. My name is Fred Duho, reporting from Pram Pram for City News.